I noticed in your notes you made reference to an opportunity for New Zealand with regard to using its own burning platform. That's not something I'm familiar with, the term burning platform, but I'm always interested in opportunities. So, what was that a reference to?
In Scotland, when I started, our burning platform was the industry was going to get privatised, and we were going to be constantly seen as being worse than the industry in England and Wales, and that was something that neither politicians nor water industry operatives or us as regulators could accept as an acceptable outcome. So that gave us a singularity of focus to go about and try and do something markedly different and markedly better. So it seems to me that with the Havelock North water incident and the Three Waters reform programme of the government in New Zealand, that was a sort of a modest light to the platform, if you like. A bit of a match was taken. You add COVID and the pressures on household and organisational budgets that will inevitably follow from that, and that's a bit like putting some kerosene on that slowly smouldering platform. So I think in New Zealand there's a wonderful opportunity now. I think you've got to look forward and try and look positively. There's a wonderful opportunity to set about reforming the water industry in a really effective way.
You sound optimistic. You sound as though there is lots that we can learn from your experience. There are great opportunities in front of us. It will cost, but perhaps this post COVID recovery is the perfect time to start embarking on the reforms that you think we obviously need.
Yeah, but I think the thing I would emphasize is don't just copy what we did. And please don't make the same mistakes that we made, and have that longer term focus in place as soon as possible. Because by doing that, you make the whole process of reform less adversarial than it can otherwise be. And that, as we're learning in Scotland now, is a much better way to go.
And of course, right now, people in Auckland can't even wash their car or water their garden because of an extraordinary drought blamed on climate change. Um, that must be a worry for you.
Well, climate change is probably the single largest focus of the water industry in Scotland right now. The rainfall patterns have been changing very markedly, and even in Scotland, we've had in recent years a need to have Scottish Water assist those people who work on private supplies to top up their supply because it's been running short of water. So drought's affecting us as well. One of the things that I found really striking was that when you actually look at the water industry in Scotland, and you look at both embedded carbon in the existing asset base plus its operational carbon, um, it's very difficult to think of any organisation in Scotland that's got a larger carbon footprint. So there's an awful lot of political focus, very understandably, on aviation and transport. Um, they're probably seen as things that are a bit easier to do something about in some ways. But actually, the water industry as an organisation, as an industry, has a very material carbon footprint that we really do have to do something about if we're serious about the mitigation of climate change. And then on the adaptation side, well, if sea level is going to rise, there will be many sewage works around New Zealand that may be under some threat of being flooded.